Hi guys, God bless you. So I was guided to talk about. Well, actually, I prayed to God. I'm like, hey, please give me a verse that will be applicable to a lot of people. Um, and initially, I got John 4:5, but when I looked into it, it didn't really make any sense to me. Well, like, kind of got a sort of I guess a mix between John 4:5 and then 1 John 4:5. So one or sorry, John 4:5 didn't make any sense to me. And I didn't understand how it would be applicable to everyone because I prayed for a message that would be very, very applicable to everybody. And then so I looked at 1 John 4:5. Uh, but then I looked at the scripture and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I decided to start at 1 John 4:4 because I think it makes more sense to start from the beginning of that paragraph, which is 1 John 4:4. So 1 John 4 verse 4, but you belong to God, my dear children. You have already won your fight with these false prophets because the spirit who lives in you is greater than the spirit who lives in the world. 5. These people belong to this world, so they speak from the world's viewpoint, and the world listens to them. 6. But we belong to God. That is why those who know God listen to us. If they do not belong to God, they do not listen to us. That is how we know if someone has the spirit of truth or the spirit of deception. So, what I was guided when it came to this is it was pretty personal for me because I know my purpose on earth is to educate people about what animal flesh really does to the body, and it's completely counterintuitive to what the world teaches. The truth will set you free. But unfortunately, we have to deal with pre-programmed conditioning and what manipulation has been done on this earth, which actually started with the eating of the forbidden fruit. And I tried to sort of indicate my last message that I wanted people to reflect on when Adam and Eve first came to this earth. How there was no such thing as sin. They followed the commandments. It was just innately what they did. They didn't know what sins were. They didn't know what breaking commandments were. They had no idea what a lie was. So when Eve was basically talking to the serpent and the serpent fed her all these lies, she had no idea what lies were and took them as truth. Another thing that I reflected on when it comes to this is there are people that just won't understand you. Don't hold that against them. Just pray for them. Pray that one day that they do. Because the people of God who understand you, they will understand you. Because they'll understand the basis of what God has predisposed on your heart, has predisposed on your spirit to teach others. But if they don't understand you, don't take it personally. I know that can be really hard sometimes, but stand in your truth. Even if you have tons of people on the outside saying, don't bother, don't bother, don't bother, leave it alone. But if your heart is driving you to go deeper into this and to actually apply what, if everybody's telling you not to, but your heart is saying, do it, I would strongly advise that you do what your heart is saying and not what the world is telling you. Because with this verse, you know, but you belong to God, my dear children. You have already won your fight with these false prophets. So I don't know if people out there are dealing with people that claim to be Christian, but do not follow their own hearts, or don't follow commandments and break commandments and sin and don't think nothing of it, which, no offense, but those people are not real prophets. A real prophet makes sure that they follow commandments and don't sin because they understand fully and wholeheartedly the implications of what happens when they do sin and do break commandments. I can be like, personally, I understand this on a level that I wish more people understood, because if I do something that is not in line with love, so if I do something that breaks commandments or makes me sin, how do I put this nicely? I get universally arse kicked in a way that makes me go like, aha! I should not have done that. But, yeah. So, key to this, you guys. If God is calling you to do something and it's not particularly something that is quote unquote popular in the world, who cares? Do what your heart is screaming for you to do. Don't be influenced by what other people say. If you have a connection with God, listen to what God is telling you, because, in my opinion, you should be pleasing God more than people. Because eventually, if you please God more than people, people will eventually roll around to understand why you went with God and not with people. So, that's just a message for everyone. I prayed basically for the best for everyone, believers, not believers. But I really hope that everybody's a believer one day. Because really, if everybody understood what love was, I don't understand why anybody, like, we should all be applying love, guys. God is love. First commandment, you shall love God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your essence. And then 1 John 4:8, God is love. So if you put, love in place of God, love with all your heart and all your soul. So, I hope this is helpful to some of you guys, but yeah, listen to your heart. Apply what your heart wants, not what everybody else is telling you. Right? God bless you all. Take care.